You're listening to Emerson Whitner's NXT Report on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening. This is Emerson Whitner, and this is your NXT audio update for June 24th, 2015. We are on the road to Finn Balor's NXT title win, which is going to be on July 4th at 5:30 a.m. Eastern Time. I'll be snoring. You'll probably be snoring, but Dave Meltzer probably won't be. Most people will, though. However, the show will be on demand at some point, and you can watch as Finn defeats Kevin Owens for the NXT title in just over a week from now. So the show this week opened up with the entire NXT roster on stage, including both Hideo Itami and Sami Zayn, as Triple H paid tribute to the American Dream Dusty Rhodes. Most of them were on the verge of breaking down, while Kevin Owens had that heavy breathing that you see people have when they're getting very emotional, and you can see Mr. Regal wiping away tears, and it was very nice as they all stood there for a 10-bell salute. We then went to the proper open of the show, which was followed by Hideo Itami officially coming out and coming back to NXT with his arm in a sling. We get reminded that at NXT TakeOver, Kevin Owens just happened to be walking by when Itami was laying on the ground. Greg Hamilton, who is a better announcer than JoJo, interviewed him, and Hideo mentioned that he's out for 3 to 4 months. He cannot wait to be back, and he is going to Japan and plans on challenging the winner of the Finn Balor-Kevin Owens NXT title match, which, of course, brings out the champion. Kevin Owens said that it's very nice that Hideo is going to be in Japan to see his wife and his kids, but too bad that he won't be competing. Owens said that he will end Balor for good on July 4th. Kevin stumbled over his words a little bit when he's trying to say that Hideo is delusional, and then he made the joke that, stumbling over his words, he sounded like Hideo trying to speak English. However, there's no way he's leaving Tokyo without the NXT title, and he said that he had nothing to do with Itami's injury, and if he did, Itami would be in the hospital, next to Sami Zayn. Owens also said he's demanding an apology because a few weeks ago, Hideo said Kevin was a bad person. Itami called him a great champion but a terrible human being, so Owens took offense and walked to the ring to take him out. So, of course, Finn Balor ran down to attack him. Balor was about to do a dive off the ramp when Rhyno attacked him. Rhyno then threw him off the 2-foot-high stage and stood happily over the number one contender, setting up the main event. Justin Henry's favorite tag team of Enzo, Amore, and Colin Cassidy kicked off the in-ring action as they defeated Jason Jordan and Sylvester Lefort. Enzo and Sylvester Lefort, if you recall, had their rivalry last September, which culminated in their hair versus hair match, which led to Marcus Louis getting his head shaved and going crazy. Sylvester is Jason Jordan's second potential partner, and once again, Jason Jordan goes down in defeat. It makes you wondering when he'll just pick Chad Gable as his partner. Colin never tagged into the match, actually. The heels beat down Enzo the whole time. Jordan tagged in, and Enzo all of a sudden hit him with a roll-up for a surprise victory, and I liked it. It was different, and it made it seem less predictable because, I really wasn't paying a terribly large amount of attention until all of a sudden the finish happened, and I had to rewind to see what happened. And so it's good to have these finishes out of nowhere like this. After the match last week, Samoa Joe cut a promo saying that he still wants to fight Kevin Owens. We got Dana Brooke pinning Cassie. Cassie is the young lady from Australia who just got signed and is all over the shows, and whose name has been changed from Cassidy to Casey, and now is Cassie, C-A-S-S-I-E. Byron Saxton noted that Cassie and Emma are both from Australia, and for some reason that caused both Corey Graves and Rich Brennan to make fun of him the entire match for pointing that out. Emma stood outside the ring looking bored while this match went on. Cassidy did get a fiery comeback, including hitting this very weird running spin kick in the corner. Not sure why, just never really seen that, and it just looked weird. But she did get beaten with the sit-out Death Valley driver. Backstage, Charlotte cut a promo saying that she's going to kick Dana's ass as soon as she gets the chance. And then we got part 2 of the greatest video package ever, period. Damn, I screwed that one up, didn't I? Part 2 of the greatest video package ever, documenting the career of Finn Balor. Go back and watch part 1. Ignore the part where I stumbled over my words just a minute ago. Watch part 1. Go to the WWE Network and watch part 2. I don't know what you're waiting for. Finn talked about Legos. He talked about New Japan. We saw Jason Albert talk about the young boys in Japan, what they had to do to pay their dues, and it's what Finn Balor did. We saw a little bit of action. We didn't see a whole lot of actual wrestling. We saw Finn walk into the ring a few times, and we saw pictures of him with Carl Anderson, Taka Michinoku, Yuji Nagata, and Hiroshi Tanahashi. We got a little bit of match footage and a lot of Bullet Club stuff. They didn't explain what Bullet Club was, and it's literally there just for the people who know what the Bullet Club is. But I imagine there's a lot of people sitting at home watching NXT and is like, what the hell is Bullet Club? And it's kind of funny because while this is happening, going head-to-head with Ring of Honor, as Bullet Club was in a 6-man tag match in the main event. Bull Dempsey has been ordered to get into better shape by Mr. Regal. I wish I knew whose Cheerios he pissed in. And we got a bunch of Instagram photos of Bull passed out with his giant stomach sticking out and eating chips and just being sloth-like. Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder now have a tag team name. It's the HiBros. And the HiBros defeated Sawyer Fulton and Angelo Dawkins. Fulton and Dawkins, I think they're supposed to be Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin. I know I'm being racist with that one, saying that because the team is one white guy, one black guy, and they're both amateur wrestlers, that automatically makes them Haas and Benjamin. It is what it is. Hell, they were doing the Haas and Benjamin leapfrog over each other at one point. They got the heat on Mojo, which seemed backwards, but, the fans popped for Ryder as he got the hot tag, and the good guys eventually won when Ryder pinned Dawkins with the Rough Rider off the middle rope as Mojo held him up in the bear hug. Backstage, William Regal was texting someone when Eva Marie walked in and asked for a match. Mr. Regal then became the biggest heel in the history of NXT by giving Eva an opportunity. They didn't set up a match for her, but sadly, it's coming. And then in the main event, Finn Balor pinned Rhyno for the second time. The entire match was a backdrop to Kevin Owens on commentary. Just an entertaining dude, making fun of the commentators the whole time. Except for Corey Graves, who was the de facto heel commentator of the three of them this week. The match itself, it was fine, but nothing to write home about. Kevin said that he would celebrate Independence Day, calling it a great movie, and then said he would beat, I wrote a Tommy, but he's actually going to beat Finn Balor in Tokyo. And he kept going off on Byron for asking him questions instead of talking about the match. Rhyno went for a clothesline. Balor ducked it, hit the Pele kick, hit another head kick, and so Owens went to the ringside. Rhyno hit a belly-to-belly suplex off the distraction, but Balor came back with a sling blade and the coup de grace for the win. Owens hit the ring as soon as the match over for a 2-on-1 beatdown on Balor until Samoa Joe ran in and made the save, causing the heels to scurry away. So that's it for this week. Next week is the go-home show to July 4th. And on July 4th, I think everyone sees it coming. We're going to have a new NXT champion, and we'll see what happens from there. But until next week, thank you for listening. And, again, tune in next week. Bye.
You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.